outside. Puka's got the catch. Puka breaks the tackle to 10. Purdy rolling, throwing. Ayuk holds on. Steps up, throws. Wide open man is Dowdle. And he's going to take it. Rashard is into the end zone. Have to get rid of it and caught. He's headed to the end zone. Stevenson, touchdown.
All right, so the San Francisco 49ers wrapped up their first day of drafting after trading back multiple times in the first round and eventually landing into the second and third rounds. And this has been one of the most bizarre things that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan has done up to this point. I believe that John Lynch is actually more in charge of this draft now. By reading the room and the draft war room, you could tell that this is John's draft. I don't know if it's his first draft, but the teams that are needed, the team needs are this. They need an offensive guard, a tackle. Okay, Trent Williams is 38 years old. Even though he restructured his contract, every year is I don't know if I'm going to retire and I'm holding the team up for money. Also, wide receiver. Even though they went out and got Mike Evans and Christian Kirk, they are a lot older, and it could be one injury away from having the same issues we had last year with receivers. Also, another team we would need it was an edge rusher, someone that can come across that edge right there and be and provide a great rotation for Mikael Williams for the outside rush, helping Nick Bosa as well by having both sides strengthen the right and left side. Also, a safety was a big position of need. And also, Ronaldo Green was pretty bad and got exposed by the Seattle receivers in the championship game. Well, no, not the championship game, the wild card game. Which almost Kyle Shanahan had to bench him. So, what happened and what went down was they went back into day 2 and 3. The first player they took off the board was wide receiver Deshaun Stribling, who was actually the second best receiver available at that point. The first receiver out that point that was available was I believe was Boston. I think something like that. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on it. But let's just go over what we got, right? We got Deshaun Stribling, 6'2", 200 pounds. Comes from Ole Miss, so he's played in Lane Kiffin's offense. Let's look at his stats. He's played for 5 years. 2 years Oklahoma State, 2 years at Washington State. I will say this: at Oklahoma State, Washington State, he only got 1,000 yards in those two seasons at Washington State and 1,000 yards at Oklahoma State. We did put up touchdowns, but in 2 years he put up 7 at OK State, and then he put up 6 at Ole Miss. His last year, which was definitely his most productive year, he had over 1,000. No, he had 811 yards, but he had 6 touchdowns, and so there was so he had in 1 year he had a great year with production. He's played for 5 years. 2 years Oklahoma State, 2 years at Washington State. I will say this, at Oklahoma State, Washington State, he only got 1,000 yards in the 2 seasons at Washington State, and 1,000 yards at Oklahoma State. We did put up touchdowns, but in 2 years he put up 7 at OK State, and then he put up 6 at Ole Miss. His last year, which was definitely his most productive year, he had over 1,000. No, he had 811 yards, but he had 6 touchdowns, and so there was so he had, in 1 year, he had a great year of production. He's played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. 2 years Oklahoma State, 2 years at Washington State. I will say this, at Oklahoma State, Washington State, he only got 1,000 yards in the 2 seasons at Washington State, and 1,000 yards at Oklahoma State. We did put up touchdowns, but in 2 years he put up 7 at OK State, and then he put up 6 at Ole Miss. His last year, which was definitely his most productive year, he had over 1,000. No, he had 811 yards, but he had 6 touchdowns, and so there was so he had in 1 year, he had a great year of production. So it wasn't a bad pick. I just think that it could have been a pick maybe in the 4th or 5th round. And then keep in mind the needs is the O tackle, right? Wide receiver, edge, All right, so the second pick, and he was projected to do draft by the 49ers. So, so keep that in mind. So actually what he was projected is actually what the 49ers drafted him. And he was the second best receiver available on the board as well. And then you would think there were 2 safeties on the board. 2 really good safeties on the board, right? And for some reason, they didn't draft either one of those safeties or a lineman or what have you. But they did get an edge rusher, so I was like, okay, they got an edge rusher. They got Romillo Height. Spent 6 seasons at the collegiate level. Played for Auburn, USC, Georgia Tech, Texas Tech. Texas Tech was where he had his most dominant year of production, where he earned Big 12 first team honors, and he was named all Big 12 team his senior season as well, having 111 tackles, 27 tackles lost, 16 and a half sacks. So he was really, really great last year. Third round, the 90th pick, Keelan Black, who was it seems like who was played 6 years collegiately. And this is the thing that is also bothering me. And I'm not trying to do the age thing, but each one of these players have took 6 years to become good in college. Most players do 2 to 3 years. So is that telling me there's some disconnect right there? But he did have an excellent season. I knew who he was. I just didn't think he needed to be drafted that high. He could have been drafted in the 5th round, I believe. Maybe like 4th, 5th. And then the I think was that the last one. And then that was a trade that they made again. So they end up picking up a 5th round pick because they traded D. Winters to the Cowboys, which I was like, oh, okay, it's D. Winters, you know, no disrespect, but it's like, oh, okay. So today the 49ers have 107, 127, 133, 139, 179. So they have some really close early 4th picks. I would say so. You know, they don't, and then they have 1 5th round pick, so they can still pick up those needs of a tackle, a safety, maybe build another piece for depth. You know, I would say a corner will also be something I would keep my eye on. Maybe another linebacker late. Maybe another tackle or guard. You know, maybe you'll strike gold. You know, but anyway, so this is the way John Lynch has done his draft this year. I believe it is John that's really in charge here, and I see the dissension in the room, but Kyle's trying to keep a level head, but at the same time it's like, okay, you know, this is definitely John Lynch's draft. Maybe he'll knock it out the park and time will tell. But anyway, y'all take care till next time. Yes, sir.
Right side, Puka's got the catch. Puka breaks the tackle to 10. And Purdy rolling, throwing. Ayuk holds on. Steps up, throws. Wide open man is Dowdle. And he's going to take it. Inside, he's into the end zone. Have to get rid of it.